Okay, it's day 5, Wednesday, May 31st, my sister's birthday. Started the day with yoga meditation in our hotel room Zoom meeting. We had breakfast at the Pan Pacific Hotel, and instead of going to the lounge, we tried the main restaurant on the main floor. It was very busy. We had packed up our luggage and so it could be held at the checkout to continue attending the Rotary Convention. So after breakfast, we went to a breakout session in room 212 while Robin went back to the House of Friendship to go and get a kangaroo pin so that we had those. And then I was in the breakout session and it was getting fuller and fuller, and I was waiting for Robin to show up. I ended up grabbing an extra seat, and I found out later that she got trapped outside and they weren't letting her in because they said there wasn't any seats. After a little bit, she was able to get in and she did get to sit down. The breakout session was about listening, and the woman was an educator, and she did a great job at audience interaction, and it was a very interactive session.
Wait, what did you say? So the next breakout room that we tried to get into was all about what's going on in the Ukraine. Even though we waited in line, there was not enough room for us. I guess the Russians overtook the place. So we had to find a backup plan. Instead, we went to a breakout on plastic soup, and it was done by an Australian Rotary Club. It was very informative. We learned about the problem of plastics in the environment, as well as the effects of microplastics. And these can have a huge, profound negative impact on health. For more information, you can check out plasticsoupfoundation.org. Next up, it was time for lunch. Lunch was okay, but we sat at a table with a couple from Fort Worth. They were not very talkative. We also chatted with a guy named Art from Yorba Linda. As everyone was heading out for the closing ceremony, we had to get our taxi to head to the airport. By the way, it was $15 less than the taxi ride when we had arrived. Check-in at the airport was quick and easy. You actually print your baggage tags and then place your bags on a self-service kiosk. It weighs them and then it takes them away on a belt. It was quick and easy getting through security. It actually felt more like it used to in the US before 9/11, maneuvering through the airport. We had a drink and waited for our flight to Sydney. And although it was a pretty full flight, we were lucky and no one booked the window seat next to us. The flight to Sydney was 1.5 hours. So we made it to Sydney. It was just after dark. We got our luggage and we called for a shuttle from the rental car company. Troy first called and it went to a voicemail. So we called again and got a worker. He said, go out of the doors and go 300 meters. We walk out. Of course, I have no idea how far 300 meters is. We ended up walking too far. We missed the shuttle. Um, Troy saw the shuttle pulling away. So we called again and he said, look for the sign that said 300 meters to Qantas, which we couldn't even see from the direction we had been walking. So we finally got to the right pickup area. We got our shuttle. We picked up our car with a $1,000 deposit. They took pictures of the car around the outside to prove what it looked like when we received it, which is a great idea. And we were ready to head to our hotel.
We drove about 7 minutes to our hotel. It was a hotel right above a pub. Kind of reminded me of the old Western style type of saloons in a hotel up above, although you had to go outside to get to your room. Anyway, while Robin was checking into the hotel right at the bar, I started up a conversation with a local guy named Simon. We ended up talking to him for an hour or so, maybe a couple hours, having beers and just having dinner at a table with him. and a rugby match started, and the place got very full. There was gambling and all sorts of stuff going on in there. He told us a little bit about the rugby game, but he also told us about the Aborigines and how they're treated in Australia. He said that the law limits them to a 6 pack per week. They have a money card with limits on what they can purchase. No gambling allowed for them. The laws don't apply to anyone else. So Simon, he's a construction guy. He takes time lapse photos of construction sites, and he uses the local people to help him set up and remove cameras. Right this time, he was in Alice Springs doing that work. Um, the rugby match was called the State of Origin, and it was the first game of a 3 game series. The underdogs were the Blues, and they won the game. Everyone was super excited about the game, and Simon was explaining it to us. Um, and then after that was just about done, Simon showed us how to get to our hotel. He was a local there that would go there a lot of times, so he showed us through the door, up the stairs, or outside, then up the stairs, and there was no elevator. There was a strong smell of air freshener and cleaner, so it was pretty overwhelming. We went down to the car and grabbed a few items before from our suitcase rather than bringing our suitcases up, and we aired out the room at the same time, and we got a nice sleep.